Alex Loeb, Kat Osterman, and Jeffrey Michel now joining us in charge of fan engagement here at UTSA. And I know you have some big plans redesigning the student section. Tell me everything that's in the works right now, Jeffrey.
Yeah, so it's a really exciting process. We're looking to really revitalize our student support, our student section at all of our games. And we're doing that because it's really the student body that's the root of our fan base. That's where we can start them off as fans when they're coming to games, when they're a 5-minute walk away from the softball field or the convo for basketball and volleyball. And then when they graduate and they're alumni, they can keep coming back. And so we want to reach them when they're here, make them fans when they're here, and then continue to see them back here after they graduate.
I know the trend in some places around the country is to name the student sections, and you've come up with the Birdcage for the student section at UTSA home events. How did that name come about?
Yeah, so it was another process within the process for that one. Part of what we want to do as we kind of reinvent our student section and our student support is making sure our students feel a sense of pride and ownership in the student section, because at the end of the day, they're the ones in it. It's their student section. And so we held a week-long vote where our student body got to vote on what name they wanted. And there were some good options in there, but I think the Birdcage honestly was the best one, and it ended up winning. And so that's going to be our name at every sport, every venue for all of our games moving forward.
Jalen Duke just flat out there against a new pitcher, Reagan Stout, who took over for Kat Reyes. Did you come up with that name again, you said? Or who did the person who came up with that win anything, win a prize?
So it was a name that actually existed within athletics, if you can believe it. It's been a nickname for both our tennis center and the convocation center, with varying popularity throughout the years. But it's actually one that had existed for a few years, and maybe some students knew that and voted for it for that reason, but maybe some didn't. But from that standpoint, we're kind of doubling down on the Birdcage. It's something that I don't think visiting teams are going to be too excited about.
Will you be dressing up and sitting in a cage for that? Donning a bird costume or anything? Or
who knows? Who knows what you're going to see in the Birdcage? I think it can get pretty wild in there. It's kind of endless possibilities when you get the student support going, because the students are the craziest ones.
How important is it to have a really active and engaged and loud student section at UTSA, where it seems like a number of these programs, we saw what Karen Ashton did with the women's basketball program, what Van Studeman is in the process of doing, building up new cultures here, and really, I would imagine the fans are just a huge part of that process.
Yeah, of course. The biggest thing, you mentioned women's basketball, was the crowd this year. It started off kind of where it was last year, with a good crowd, a decent crowd, and throughout the year it built and it built and it built, and it really created an environment that was an addition on top of the team and the game. So fans looking to come at games aren't just coming for the team, but they're coming for the atmosphere that they get with the crowd and with the students. And the students, in the arena, in the Alamo Dome, that's where it starts. Because if your students are loud, the rest of the crowd is going to be loud. If you go to any college in the country, the students are the loudest ones. They're the ones standing. They're the ones starting the cheers and the chants. So that's what we want to create here, and really make our venues the hardest places to play in the conference.
Well, currently there's a contest for students to design the T-shirt that's going to be, I guess, apparent in the Birdcage.
Yeah.
What are the details of that, and when do students have to submit their submissions by?
Yeah, so that went up last week. The deadline is this coming Monday night, so there is still plenty of time. We want our students to design a shirt that is going to be the official shirt of the student section for 2025-26. It's going to be given away at our very first home football game against Texas State on September 6th. And really the biggest requirement is they got to have the Birdcage logo in there. Aside from that, they have a ton of freedom. And that's what we want to see. We want to see students, kind of running wild with this, coming up with some really awesome designs. And that winning design will go on thousands of shirts, and that'll go out to all of our students. Hopefully they'll wear them to all the games, all the sports throughout the year. And it'll be another part of our students owning the student section.
Might have to come up with a couple variations of that if it's going to last all year for them.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Again, this is really a revitalization of the student section. So there's a lot of new stuff we're doing. This student section T-shirt is not something we've done before. So we have the freedom to, do multiple versions or add different things throughout the year. Because it's the first time we're doing it, we're kind of blazing a new path, and that's part of what makes all of this so exciting.
You talked about how the student section enhances really the sporting event and how they become the loud part. How is creating the Birdcage going to enhance the students' experience for UTSA?
Yeah, so that's certainly part of it. As it is with every fan, you want the game to be more exciting, and a student being in the Birdcage versus just the student section, it's going to be more exciting for them. But they're also going to have opportunities because of the Birdcage. There's tons of things we want to do with this student section, and we need people to do it, and those are going to be students helping us do those things. And so there's going to be opportunities, leadership opportunities for our students who will be able to get involved and have a say of what happens on game day and what our thousands of fans in the venues get to see.
Are you going to throw Rowdy in the Birdcage?
Probably. Probably. Rowdy will be part of it. I'm hoping everybody will be part of it. I mentioned earlier with chants and cheers, that starts in the student section, and hopefully the entire crowd gets involved with those kinds of things. Hoping the Birdcage can start a lot of new things and bring our fans together.
Awesome. We appreciate you coming up here and sharing all about the Birdcage and its launch, and we look forward to hopefully next year seeing it somewhere here in the softball facility.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Jeffrey. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Do you accept stick figures for the design drawings?
We're accepting anything and everything.
Alex is going to submit
You're
one.
saying there's a chance.
When you
There
see
is
a
a chance.
stick figure with a beak, Alex's submission right there.
Thank you so much again. Jeffrey Michel, in charge of fan engagement here at UTSA. We appreciate it again, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining us.